Hello everybody, welcome to December part 1 video and the new moon total solar eclipse. All 12 sign by signs individually are up on Patreon for $1 a month, $11.40 per month, and I'll be posting general year ahead in January up on Patreon. So we open this period with the sun still transiting through Sagittarius. And with Sagittarius, it's our belief systems, it's higher courts, global themes, expanding your mind, curiosity. Being a curious person, in my view, is the hallmark of intelligence. And on the 1st of December, Mercury, the energy of mind, decisions, plans, mobility, and faith, joins the sun in Sagittarius, where he will transit through December 20th rather. So we are leaving the more intense fixed water sign energy of Scorpio, where Mercury transited into on September 27th due to its retrograde. Mercury's finally moving on now into Sagittarius. So we leave that heavier, suspicious, paranoia, but also the truth-seeking missile energy that Scorpio brings as Mercury transits, and the huge focus on finances as well and resources. So this elongated cycle concludes, and you should feel more buoyant and optimistic and hopeful. Mercury is sextiling Saturn, and that was from November 30th until December 1st, suggesting developments and decisions that were born out of the Mercury square Saturn that occurred at the beginning of November and ran through the United States election cycle. And I am going to be highlighting some of the countries' transits because we're going through such an intense time here that I'm going to incorporate that. For some of you international people, you're interested, and others may say, she's always talking about the United States, and I would say, no, that's not true. But I am going to be discussing some of the transits because we're on such a precipice of shifts and changes here. So this square from Saturn to Mercury, the beginning of November, cut across the 10th house of the president and his communications and his opinions and his plans, and the 2nd house of the country's economy and its ability to allocate resources. So that has moved on as Mercury is now sextiling Saturn, which should bring some clarity and forward motion with what was a kind of a stagnant situation. On Monday, December 14th, is the new moon total solar eclipse. It occurs at 23 degrees of Sagittarius and is exact at 11:13 a.m. Eastern United States time. Sagittarius is the sign of higher consciousness and the desire to expand through broader viewpoints and desires expansion in understanding. Sagittarius holds rulership over the 9th house and refers to the expansion of your mind through always being able to take in more information. And this is the house of life, because this corresponds to the fire signs, the light of the spirit, the light of consciousness. You find a lot of the real spiritual avatars that have populated this planet held fire sign trines in their chart, either in the fire sign houses, 1st, 5th, or 9th, or in the literal fire signs, wherever they displayed in the chart. Trines are flowing energy of spirit. It's enthusiastic, Sagittarius, and it's interested in the spiritual development and the spiritual consciousness. It's the search for meaning, understanding, wisdom. It is the lifelong energy to find out what one believes about the world, God, man, life. Basically, your outlook on life and how you prescribe meaning to it. So this eclipse is an initiating, fully mobilizing eclipse that will be affecting the collective belief system into the months ahead. This eclipse highlights and rules over Sagittarius legal affairs and higher courts in the land. Society's rules of conduct is also highlighted. Colleges, airlines, international affairs, and travel. Dream, visions, intuition, inspiration, writing, publishing, taking classes, teaching classes. It is all part of this energetic signature of this total new moon solar eclipse. And remember, new moons are initiating energy for developments in your hologram, in the external world, in the consciousness field. So it's like a thrusting out energy into the weeks ahead. This eclipse conjuncts the energy of rulings, decisions, and planning, Mercury. It trines the archetype of will, ego, energy, confidence, and asserting oneself, Mars. And it squares the nebulous, the confusing, the ephemeral, and making adjustments regarding medicine, spiritual awareness, and creative pursuits, Neptune. The total solar eclipse, which is the most dramatic kind, also opposes that North Node in Gemini. And oppositions are about being aware of influences and data coming at you from outside of yourself, oppositions, while it's conjuncting the South Node in Sagittarius. So this is a theme of seeking out factual data to form one's beliefs and opinions and consciousness. Or do you stay with the South Node of contraction and say, no, I know all that I need to know. That's it, period. I'm in a space of static beliefs and I'm not going to change a thing. I'm right, you're wrong. This eclipse will be visible from South America, Southwest Africa, and Antarctica, highlighting specifically new themes for these countries into the weeks ahead. South America is going to be important here. And this eclipse occurs in the United States' first house of identity, people in the country, the masses, those being governed, and the nation as a whole. It correlates to the health and well-being of the tax-paying citizens, opinions, public consciousness, and the psychology of the masses. Legal developments and decisions will occur around this eclipse as it trines the country's progressed Mars in that fourth house. What's the fourth house in a country's chart? It's the citizens, their living conditions, housing, and a lot of Americans right now are staring down the barrel of housing insecurity, economic insecurity, food insecurity. It is a stark situation here. And it also rules the fourth house, the minority political party. So that's interesting. We don't know who that is yet because we've got governor, Senate runoffs, in Atlanta that won't finalize until, what is it, January, or is it the beginning of January? So this may shift the minority into the majority, or it may be also or decisions that the minority party is tied in very specifically with the developments and this eclipse moving forward. It also squares this eclipse, Neptune, in the nation's third house of media, communications, public transit, schools, boards of education, speech, language. There's confusion here. There's misinformation here. The U.S. has been under a Pluto-Mercury opposition the past 2 years. This will continue next year. From its second house of money and resources to its eighth house where Mercury is natally, of mortality rates, stock market, taxes, pensions, Social Security, social support systems, public assistance from the government and the stock market. Pluto in hard contact through opposition, square, or conjunction to Mercury is prone to suspicion, conspiracy, distrust, and is absolutely part of the very toxic communications that we've been undergoing in this country the past 2 years. Also, the corrupt use of a nation's resources. It perfects, we fund the government. Does the government support us? There are people begging for help as I'm filming this on November 20th. And it's been very cognitive dissonance for me this week, watching what's going on with these miles-long food banks, and they're playing politics. The nation needs help. There are people in some real trouble here. And if nothing's done, we're going to see much more chaos. So it perfects yet again this Pluto-Mercury opposition on December 26th, but it's an influence now at 24 degrees of Capricorn to Cancer, and then again from August to November of 2021. I feel this can suggest either government decisions such as unemployment insurance, housing insecurity, COVID relief packages. It is a huge focus as millions of Americans are dealing with crisis in their finances, their business, and their housing situations. As I'm filming this, as I alluded to, millions are left hanging as to where they will be the day after Christmas when unemployment runs out, rent security runs out, PPE, any remnants of that runs out on the 26th of December. This is when Pluto opposition Mercury perfects. I would like to ideally see decisions that are coming in to pull people back from the cliff that they're peering down from a government that we fund. It's time to help the people who pay you. So eclipses are fated, and they are intent upon moving you along in your own growth and your own life themes, whether you think you're ready for them or not. This is a positive energy, though, in many ways, and the theme that will be moving you along, ready or not, into the weeks ahead. And I'm a coach first and foremost who uses astrology. But if you'd like clarity on the themes for yourself, what you wrote in for yourself, I'm incarnating here, you can schedule a session with me at the link below. And I send prolific, loving energy to the souls populating this planet. And it's an important period for adjustments, if needed, in your own belief systems. Again, this is your hologram, your soul experience. How are you interfacing with your world? It's a powerful time to reflect on your own value judgments, anger, shame, love, truth, untruths. This requires a clearing, perhaps for all of us, with some of our perception on things. But I always find, from a humanitarian standpoint, that I walk my talk on is my communications and my beliefs and my actions helping others or harming others. And that's a good quality to live by, in my view. And wishing you all much love, healing, and positive flow into this passage ahead. Be well, namaste, and I'll talk to you soon.